Okay, so I wasn't really planning on making this video. I had a different video planned for this week, but after what happened last night, I feel like I want to give my thoughts about the current state of the Milwaukee Bucks. Even if it is on this less edited, more rough video, because I think we all felt the Bucks hit rock bottom last night. They lost against the Blazers, and they did not only lose, they were like beat up by a Blazers team that was on the second night of a back-to-back, that were missing some key players like Holiday, Sharp. They're still waiting for Scoot Henderson. They were even missing, Blake Wesley, who was very huge for them at the beginning of the season. And yeah, this Blazers team haven't really looked that good, and they still look way better than the Bucks, who had no chance at all. And so I think we all are wondering now what with this team. Giannis wasn't playing, that's true, and I think we all expected this team not to be very good without Giannis, but I don't think we expected to be this bad. And also, even when Giannis was playing in the last few games, the team didn't really feel that good. So I think at this point, the only solution we all can think about is firing Doc Rivers. I think we've all been really patient about this, right? I don't think there's any Buck fans out there that likes Doc, but we still kind of understand that it wasn't feasible to just firing him early, right? Because of the money implications. In case you don't know, the Bucks are still paying Mike Badenholzer and Adrian Griffin, so they are actually paying 3 coaches at this time. And if they fire Doc and hire a different coach, they will have to pay 4 coaches, which is admittedly insane. But at this point, I don't know what else can they do. This really feels like the last shot they have. The last shot to try to make this team somewhat competitive, because I don't think this team is this bad. We saw at the beginning of the season there is some potential in it. And also the last shot to try to convince Giannis that this team still wants to be competitive and still wants to try to win. Because if you don't do that, I would understand if Giannis wants to be traded at this point. The Bucks already kind of showed money was not going to be a problem when they fire and stretch Damian Lillard, right, to sign Miles Turner. And so I think they have to make this last push, even if it can be a more expensive one, because I think Doug has really run out of time. There hasn't been a single moment in his tenure where the Bucks have looked good, and at this point you can't just keep delaying the decision. Like, we are at this absurd point where we all know the only reason Doc is still coaching is not related to basketball, right? Because what has he really done? I think the only positive thing about him that I can think of is that he really trusts AJ Green and he really get him in the rotation, because AJ wasn't really playing before, and when Doc started coaching, he really jumped into the rotation and he has proven to deserve so. He has been really solid. I think we all like him as a player. But other than that, I cannot think a single thing Don has done right. It's been even more egregious, because I don't want this to sound like I'm defending AJ Griffin, but the Bucks had an identity when he was coaching. Was it a really good one? Maybe not. Like, they could not defend at all, but the offense has an idea, has a system, had a flow with it, and now we have basically nothing. Like, since he got to the team, I don't even know what the Bucks are trying to do anymore. Like, when preseason ended, I think we all kind of saw that the Bucks wanted to play faster, they want to play in transition, they want to shoot more threes, they want to be more aggressive at the point of attack on defense, and I don't think they are doing any of that right now. Like, they're a team without an identity, they're a team that is just out there playing whatever, and I don't think there's a single basketball reason to justify Doc Rivers being the coach anymore. I mean, probably it has never been, but we're at the point where we just have to make this decision. I don't think it will happen soon, to be honest. Like, if it happens, I don't think it will be after a game without Giannis, no matter how bad it is. But if Giannis comes back and things don't improve, which at this point I'm hopeless about that, you just cannot keep waiting for them to magically improve, because Doc is bringing zero solutions to all the problems this team has. I don't know, if we get to the middle point of the season and Doc is still coaching, I will interpret that like the Bucks are just giving up on this project. And if that's the feel I get, that is probably the feeling Giannis is going to get. And we all know what that will mean, right? If the Bucks are giving up, Giannis is going to demand a trade because he will stop thinking this is a team he can win with. And that brings me back to the money thing, because first, I kind of hate when fans are so worried about the ownership money, because these people are basically billionaires that can spend all the money they want. But even if we only focus on the money, even if we put ourselves on the position of the ownership right now, having Giannis makes this team so much relevant than if Giannis is gone. So I think every single dollar you spend trying to keep him in Milwaukee, like keeping him for maybe one more year, a few more months, it's really worth it from an economic standpoint. If you were watching the game last night, you probably saw when they used these shots of the whole arena that it was half empty. And if that happened in a game where Giannis wasn't playing but he's still on the team, I think you can imagine what would happen if the Bucks become a tanking team, right? They will become irrelevant, absolutely. Nobody will care about them. And yeah, if you are an ownership of a team, you don't want that to happen because you know what that means from an economic standpoint. And so, yeah, firing Doc Rivers means you're going to waste a lot of money, but not firing him probably means you're going to lose a lot of money too. So at this point, you just have to go with it, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm pretty pessimistic about this. As I said, I don't think this will happen soon, and I'm not even sure it will happen through the season, even if the Bucks keeps getting worse. But I think we just have to stop being so patient about this, right? Like, when last season ended, I was like, I don't even want this guy to be the coach of my team anymore. But I assume he will. But at this point, I cannot assume that anymore because this is actively hurting the team. It's even hurting me, to be honest. Like, watching the Bucks during this season and last season has kind of hurt my passion for them, which is kind of a joke I'm making, but not 100% a joke, which is pretty sad, to be honest. So, let me know in the comments, what do you think? Do you think the Bucks will fire Doc Rivers? Do you think it's even worth it? Do you think they should, they shouldn't? I don't know, let me hear your thoughts. Subscribe if you want to watch more Bucks content. I hope the next video isn't this pessimistic, but I don't know. After what happened last night, I just couldn't do any other thing that try to push this fire Doc agenda. So yeah, thanks for watching. Go Bucks.